ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon.
Welcome to the Roundtable, everybody. My name is Robert Bannon. Thank you for listening to us on the Broadway Podcast Network or watching us on our virtual talk show. You know, we've had the privilege of having a lot of really amazing artists on the show. And the opportunity to talk to our next guest is such an honor. Not only does she have 2 Tony Awards, not only is she nominated for a Grammy coming up this Sunday, which is going to be a moment, but if you haven't seen Kimberly Akimbo, if I start to sing it, I'll just start crying. Victoria Clark, I'm going to cry. I like the way you see the world. I like your point of, and I'm just bawling. Victoria Clark is here.
Hi, Robert. It's so good to see you. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, are you kidding? Yes, please. I would love. I would just sit and watch you food shop, clean your apartment. I'm fascinated with your art and artistry. You are so wonderful, and we are so grateful to have you here.
Thank you. It's cool to be here. I appreciate it.
Last time I saw you out and about at Broadway Barks, which is a cause near and dear to your heart, and we talked about the puppies. And since that moment, you have had quite a run. Kimberly is running, and people can get their tickets till April, and you have a Grammy nomination.
I do. I just feel so blessed. So Kimberly's had this incredible run. We won the most awards of any show last season. There were incredible nominees for Broadway soundtrack for the Grammy, and we're the only show that's still running that's nominated. And as you know, like, we have a small company. We're only 9 of us, right? And so we're nominated as as the album, but I'm also nominated as a soloist. But I represent all the soloists on the album because this year only 4 people were eligible per album to be nominated, and that seems, sorry, Grammy Awards, but that seems so arbitrary. Right. Yes. Because I think it should depend on the show. And we have 5 incredible actors. Bonnie Milligan, who was also nominated. Justin Cooley. Oh, sorry. She nominated and won for Best Supporting Actress.
Yes.
Justin Cooley was nominated for a Tony Award. Let's see. Steve Boyer and Ali Mozzie. So all 5 of us do quite a bit of solo singing on the album, plus the additional 4 actors who play the teenagers. So, I'm proud to nominate this incredible group of people.
Well, the album is streaming everywhere, so you can listen to the album. You can also get your tickets through April to see Kimberly Akimbo, themusical.com. So grab your tickets to come on down. As a Jersey boy myself, the show is so funny. The jokes about New Jersey are so funny. If you're in New Jersey and you haven't seen it, you need to see it. But if you're anywhere, it's a universal story. And it must be amazing when you leave the stage door, get letters, or people come up to you, how much this show means to people.
Thank you for saying that. First of all, it has a wide appeal for sure. And the show is so full of humanity and humor and literally life and death.
Yes.
So there's something for everybody.
Yes.
Right? And it's about family and our existence and how we're all so deeply flawed, but deeply, deeply in search of meaning and relationships that can heal us and can support us. And so it's, what drew me to the show was the humor. I rarely read a script that makes me laugh out loud, but this one did. And I'm so delighted that we're still running, and we're running till April 28th. And the audiences, yes, the people after the show, sometimes they make me cry because they're crying. And it's just great to have a piece of theater, a piece of art, remind us what's important about life and what's important about being alive, because it's so easy to get sidetracked, right, in our lives, and we start to prioritize things that really don't matter. At the end of the day, they don't. And this show reminds us to really stay grounded as much as possible, and keep loving. Basically, that's what I get out of it.
And that's what we all get out of it. And the music is amazing. And this cast, like you said, I'm beating this horse dead as a doornail, but this cast, all of you all as an ensemble and as a collective cast, being able to have spoken to them all. Allie, there is not a more beautiful song on Broadway right now than her singing Father Time. I will weep. It is just from top to incredible.
Yeah. I know. She sounds amazing. Here's the thing about, can you go back to the picture of the teens?
Sure.
Is it possible? I want to say their names because they're starting from the left. That's Michael Iskander. This is in the second act, and we're all playing an Uno game. So that's Michael on the floor. Next to him is Justin. That's me in the long hair. And then next to me on my left is Nina White, and then Fernell Hogan, and then Olivia Hardy. And these 5 kids are so incredible. They're still in their 20s. Justin's barely 20. And it's true that Stephen and Allie and Bonnie they're like the theater Olympics, in my opinion. It's like watching athletes in their prime. Mm-hmm. But in addition, these 5 youngsters have really made me fall in love with theater all over again.
Well, I have to, Justin is one of the most brilliant performances. It's not an easy role that he plays. He's quirky. It's very particular, and he just gives such heart and such soul to this character, and you believe every word that he says. You all are a tour de force on that stage.
I agree. I love them all so much.
Well, do you mind, and forget Bonnie, she's the funniest thing going, but
she's a rock, and she is so supportive. I mean, I feel like she is the wind beneath my wings.
Yes.
Literally, like the wind power of her voice, but just being on stage with her with everyone really is such a delight. And I feel so blessed. I'll be very sad when this is over.
The rumor is that maybe Victoria Clark is going to hit the road and do a couple of dates and sing with some fancy orchestras or philharmonics. And there's lots more music left to be had by you.
There are some really fun dates coming up with the Boston Pops, both in Boston and at Tanglewood. So I'll be posting about that when the time comes.
Yes. Go follow Victoria on Instagram. Go to Victoria J. Clark so you can stay up to date on all the work to come. Do you want to go down a little memory lane trip with me? Do you mind?
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, one of the second show I ever saw in my life, I got tickets for my 12th birthday from my parents to see How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. I remember it at the Marriott Marquis and was enamored by the musical theater world of it all. When you go back and think about, Sunday in the Park with George being an understudy and then going on Guys and Dolls and How to Succeed, is it a blur? Do you have specific memories from each moment? Do you?
Absolutely. Oh yeah. When I moved, Sunday in the Park was my first Broadway job, and I was covering 3 women, and I didn't bring anything to the theater. I was so green. It was my second equity job. I didn't know. Like, I sort of got my equity card by accident on a theater for young audiences contract because I didn't intend to be an actor. So I wasn't really looking for it. And so when I got to the theater, I didn't even bring a box of Kleenex. I was just kind of sitting there. I had been told by the other understudies, you're never going on. And so I was like, okay, I'm never going on, So I sat at my spot in my dressing room on the 4th floor, and that's now the room that Nina and Olivia share. So that's very moving for me that they're up there in my room, what used to be my room. And I didn't have Kleenex. Someone finally just said to me, don't you at least want to bring like a photograph of someone that's important to you? There's nothing on my spot. I didn't even have makeup. And I never did go on, but I did get to rehearse on that stage. And this is now not a secret because I'm telling you. But every night I look up at the spot in the balcony, which was my favorite place to watch the show. And I see myself as that 25-year-old. And we have a little moment where I connect with her. And I just say, hey, if you could have fast forward 40 years, here you are, So it's kind of moving to be back in that space.
Wow. That is to be in touch with that person. Well, you brought it up. Your journey to acting is somewhat unique. You're from Dallas,
Mm-hmm.
and you go to Yale, and
Mm-hmm.
you enroll to NYU, but you go for your master's in fine arts with directing and stage directing, kind of as
Right.
the forefront.
With writing and sort of dramaturgy and new musical work as a focus. Yeah, that was my focus.
So how did that transition happen? How did this equity card to Broadway kind of journey happen?
Well, I think it's it's a very strange but funny story. I think none of the writers wanted to present their own material, and they knew that I love to sing and act and just be silly and kind of fart around a lot. So they they would always give my scripts to hear the material out loud, and the casting people who would then cast equity actors in workshops of this. Now, this is a very prestigious program. It's NYU's graduate musical theater writing program. So we're talking Winnie Holzman, George C. Wolfe, Robert Friedman and Steve Letvak. God bless him. He just passed away earlier this year. But these are the people asking me to read their material, and I was like, sure. So the casting folks saw me do many, many different kinds of things, and they one day one of them pulled me aside and said, "Gee, I don't know if you're thinking about this, but you've got the soul of an actor, and you have you could be an actor right now. You could make a living as an actor." And I remember I just laughed at him. I was like, "No, I'm not going to do that. That's for like actors." But I think that's what I think that's what in a weird way, that was my way in, because I wasn't self-conscious about it, and I didn't really think I was good enough, and I didn't want it. I just kind of thought, I think deep down, there was a little girl in me that always wanted it, but I had dismissed it, right? And so I don't take any second on stage for granted, because I realize it was an unusual way for me to get in, but I'm so grateful to be able to share these stories and to channel them through my voice and my body.
Well, can we just say, as an audience of people who have enjoyed you since I saw you at 12 years old and how to succeed in business, that we're grateful and we thank you, because
Thank
we
you,
know it's
Robert.
a lot of nights, a lot of times away from your family, a lot of rehearsals, and you sacrifice that so that we can enjoy your art. So thank you. It is our truly, speaking of shows that I saw as a kid, there's Titanic.
Yes.
That was a big monster of a show, and I remember being a kid when that comes down from the ceiling, the lookout comes floored. Like, this is the generations of people who look at your shows that I remember being a child and being so moved by this work.
It's funny because now, so that gets revived at Encores this year, which is so exciting. And full circle, Bonnie Milligan is playing Alice Bean, which is the part I originated. So I'll be there opening night for sure.
Yes. We talked to Marty, and what's funny is that it was ahead of its time in the way that the production was, and in the score, and it came out before the movie. You guys were on the Titanic wave before it all became a...
Well, you know how ideas are just in the zeitgeist.
Yes.
And writers encounter this all the time. They'll say they're working on such and such a project, and then someone else will come out with the same exact play, or the themes are exactly, the subject matter at least is the same. And so this happened. Yeah, Cameron was working on the movie, and we won Best Musical that year, and it won Best Film. So it was kind of the year of the giant sinking ship.
Yes. Well, we could go on forever. I mean, we have a little Sister Act moment. We have a Cinderella moment, which this costume is to die for. We have a Gigi moment. And then, of course, we would be remiss to not talk about, Light in the Piazza. When we come to see you do a symphony date, what is your set list? You have a solo album that came out a few years ago. I'm sure you have other songs that you love to sing that maybe you've never performed. What is an evening with Miss Victoria Clark like?
Well, the cabaret shows are going to be slightly different than the orchestra dates, right? Because in the cabaret shows, I do a lot of storytelling, it's quite silly. There will be audience participation, and maybe even in the big orchestra concerts. I love pulling people up from the audience and involving them. And I'll definitely be singing at least one song from Piazza if possible. And I did a solo album with Maury Yeston last year called December Songs, which were all orchestrated by Larry Hochman, and they're incredible orchestration. So I will be doing at least a handful of those on these big orchestra dates. And some other songs from my career, and some beautiful arrangements of standards and things. And maybe a few surprises, definitely.
Well, we're so excited. Well, the Blessing Ring was something you worked on. That's an autobiographical show. Is that something that you still would?
Yes, but it has to do with how the voice surprises us, the singing and speaking voice, how it surprises us as we age and as we gain more life experience. And so it's probably going to be one of those shows I never really finish. Okay. But I'd like to get some version of it together in time to, be able to just try it out in a couple of places. So that should be coming along in the next year or so.
We're here for it. I'm here for all of it. Sign me up. Where do I sign up? Take my credit card right now. What you also television and film, as someone who didn't aspire to be an actor and then now have television and film credits. Are you also accredited or uncredited? I don't know, that voice in Disney cartoons? Like, are you really on Hunchback? Are you really in?
Well, there was a time, 20, 30 years ago, I can't remember now, 25 years ago, where all of those big choral numbers in the Disney animated films were recorded here in New York. And there were about 16 of us who would then double and then triple the tracks. We would sing it. And so those big, God bless. Yes. Is it God bless the Outcast?
Yes.
Yes. So there, I'm singing on that. I'm one of the crazy voices that pops out of a window in One Jump Ahead of the Bread Line. And then for the next few Disney movies, they moved that choral singing somewhere else. I think probably LA. But I was very lucky to sing on some of those animated films, and yeah, that was fun.
That is fun. We tried to dig that little tidbit up and see that because that's fascinating to be.
I can't even tell you. My son asked me once, which voice are you? And I can't even tell you now. It was so long ago, but I should have written it down somewhere.
TV and film, how is that compared to stage? When you're Almost Famous and Homeland and Good Wife and all the Pose and Blacklist, all the shows that you've done, what is it like to be on a set versus a stage?
It's fantastic. It's so great. It is a completely different kind of workday. Instead of telling the whole story chronologically every single night, you're only telling one piece of the story. So there has to be obviously a lot of work that goes into prepping so that when you come to the set that day, you don't have, in many cases, you don't have a second shot of it. Like in the theater, like you learn something every night from the audience. So you're like, oh, right. I don't know why I didn't figure that. Even here we are like 14 months into our run of Kimberly Akimbo, and I'm still learning. I'm still discovering. So with film and TV, it's much more about first instincts and just landing in the moment and listening so carefully and doing your whatever that day, that moment, that impulse is and feeling comfortable in front of the camera and just capturing that and not getting ahead of yourself, which is, it's hard to do, right? It's hard to stay right here.
Yes, in the moment. I'm work on that every day.
But there have been so many inspiring performances by women over 50, 55. I mean, Naiad, I don't know if you've seen that yet. Annette Bening and Jodie Foster both are incredible. I saw Sandra Hüller in Anatomy of a Fall. I'm fascinated by her performance. Olivia Colman, Imelda Staunton on The Crown. I mean, I just was blown away by Imelda Staunton. I mean, these women, and the female directors who are really going after female-driven stories and trying to debunk a lot of, hey, no one would think twice about a man behaving this way. Right. Why do we still, after all this time, why do we blame women for being strong? and having opinions, right? So some of the stories that are coming out now are very inspiring to me, and definitely want me to really are sort of like inspire me to pursue more film and television for sure.
Yes, well, and if you haven't seen Naiad, people, please see it. It's so inspiring. You can do anything after you see that
It's
movie.
very Kimberly Akimbo-esque. And
It is, and you will feel good and have all the feels on the journey and the ride through it. And Anatomy of a Fall, I mean, you talk about a nuanced performance, and woo, they are acting. That is a
and that
movie.
little boy, I forget his name, but oh my, that I think is brilliantly directed, that film. I made the mistake of watching it the first time without English subtitles because I thought, oh, a little bit of French, I'm fine. Yeah, and I was like, and then I was like looking over the internet. Exactly what is he saying in his final monologue to the jury? Like,
I had this
the entire story. I was like, I think I need. Okay, we're gonna go back to the subtitles. Oh yeah, that was a mistake.
I had the subtitles on from the go. So here's a silly question, but a fun one. You looked so gorgeous the other day at the New York Grammy luncheon or event that was had in New York City.
Oh yes.
Your sequin black. Do you have your outfit ready? Are you ready to head over to the Grammy Awards? Will you be there?
No, I don't. I'm going to be performing in New York. I'm going to be at the theater because there are a lot of people. You know, I hate not to be at work. So I'm not sure who's representing us. Hopefully Janine and David, Lindsay Abair, Janine Tesori, are brilliant show creators / authors. So I'm hoping they're going, but
Yes.
I need to text them and make sure they're going.
Well, Sunday, if you have tickets, that means that Victoria Clark will be in. She will be in the show on
2
Sunday.
p.m. matinee, people.
So,
I'm going to be there.
Get your tickets because she will be there. We are so excited for what's to come. We thank you. I was with Matt Gould, who has Lampika coming to Broadway, and I said I'm going to interview Victoria Clark, and he was like, "I love her so much. She is amazing." You know, you are beloved by this community. This community loves you. You.
I feel so blessed, and I thank you for lifting up theater and theater artists and the way we make theater and why it's important. I think it's in danger. We're in danger right now, right? Because you must be there in the present moment with these pieces to experience them, and we're in danger of going extinct because everyone's getting so attached to their screens. But nothing can replace that relationship between a live audience and a good story and the artists who are communicating it. So thank you for lifting up our community.
It is my honor. I'm so grateful to be a little part of it all. You guys have to get your tickets. Everybody go KimberlyAkimboTheMusical.com. Get your tickets before the end of April. Follow Miss Clark on the Instagram at Victoria.
Yes, please do. Okay.
Follow away. And I'm going to be singing. We're on an adventure. We're on an adventure. We are all on a big, great adventure together. And I don't know what we're going to find, but I'm excited to go on it with you. Thank you for all the work.
Thank you, Robert. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
How lucky are we to have Victoria Clark? I am dead. I love her so much. She's the sweetest. We're on a great adventure. Don't know what we're gonna find. We're leaving what's behind. You are by my side. Those are almost the words. Well, I love Kimberly Akimbo. It's a touching, beautiful story, and I am so excited that you're here. If you want to watch more about or learn about more about me, you know what I'm saying. Go to robertbannon.com. That's right. Go to robertbannon.com or follow me at Robert M. Bannon. Listen to my friends here at the Broadway Podcast Network. Listen to everybody here on the Broadway Podcast Network because they're doing such amazing work. Go see a show, a Broadway show, an off-Broadway show, a regional show, a tour show, a community theater show, someone playing the piano in a subway station. Whatever you want to do, support art and artists today. That's what we're all about. The best is yet to come. Thank you so much for being here. I love you for being here. And until next time, this is the Roundtable. Bye, everybody.